Right, so if I go there, can you attach images in there? I'm not seeing a way to.
Send it by email, maybe.
Okay. Email. Here we go. Add to the mere mortals email.
Yep.
Okay. Compose. Oh, laptop, you're going slow. I did reach out to Adam Curry today on the
What do you say?
on the mere mortals email. Yeah, he hasn't got back yet.
Waiting to hear back.
Yeah, but yeah, just got that going on. Fuck. So I'll have to go to here. I'll have to go to here.
Are we live on YouTube as well?
Would you be able to check that?
Yep. Check now.
Go to here. Share. Oh, lordy. Look at all these things. So much stuff to be done.
We officially reached 1,500 followers, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool, hey?
And yes, we are live.
Excellent. Okay. I think I am about to get this through to you. I'll even attach as well my September ones. So.
I was going to say, if you got the September ones, might as well.
Yeah. Attach files. Yeah, I do. Here we go. September 2023. Here you go. All right. The September one's labeled, and then the other one is just a screenshot. Cool. That's in there now.
It's obviously come through. Like on my phone, I can see that it's come through, but I can't actually see it on the bloody
nice
like computer one.
While you're doing that, I will get the live
there we go.
thing, and I'll share that as well. Yeah, it says we're live. The only problem with having the team with one of my USB ports not working is now I can't have my mouse plugged in.
Good.
So I'm gonna have to get. I'll probably have to get a USB port thing where I can plug that in. And that
to do the multiple thing.
Yeah.
Fucking annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. I did try and reconfigure it, do the whole device manager, blah 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 blah.
But no luck.
Hard reset. Yeah. No luck.
Of course.
And here's the link to the monthly goals. There we go. Let me just do that on Twitter as well. And yeah, you've been banging your thing a little bit just then. So when we start.
Just then? Yeah, because I'll just be moving it.
Yeah. Which is fine for right now. And here's the monthly goals. Nice. Very good. Okay, sweet. Yep, that's all good on my end.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to rumble. I'll cue up the music. Let me just make sure I'm recording my thing. I'm not. Okay, recording myself. Check. Yep. Sounds good. Let's go down here to monthly goals. Click live. And click this one.
We all can be immortals, capable of mistakes. The journey's not here to be agonized upon.
Oh, yes. Welcome back, Mere Mortalites, to a monthly goals. Now, during monthly goals, unlike some of the other ones, we do this once a month, and we look back at the month that was, which is going to be 2023 September, and we look ahead at October of 2023. So, look, I'm going to kick right into it, which is usually the best way to do it. I'm actually going to get you started, Karen, this time around. I'm going to share screen. We're going to look back at September, see how we went, and then we'll look at the October goals, and we might talk about some of the numbers as well around that if we do have it. But if we don't, well, I'll obviously tell you as to why. But I'm just going to share screen.
Sure. And so we are recording this just after we did the big long-term goals, or my annual goals for this coming year. So it's still on the 27th here, and yeah, we've got that section coming up. So usually we start with you. Do we want to go through your?
No, we're going to go with you first.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So my goals are on the screen as you're looking now. So testing out a dating app for real, fixing up the V4V podcast, trying out ThorChain, set aside extra time for middle splits, take care of yourself smartly, 4 hours of Duolingo, go to the doctors for a checkup, research other book reviews channels. Look, I did most. So I did not try out ThorChain. That was always the least priority. So that's understandable. Like always. I have, and we still have 4 days of this month left, technically. So it's not like.
So technically, you could accomplish it, and this was also.
Correct.
I mean, look, to be fair as well, this was your final month before the new annual goals as well. So a lot of it was just touch up things, filling in things.
Pretty much, yeah. So I did 2 hours of Duolingo, like I have the other times. I should just put it as 8 hours, and then I will do 4 hours. That's what will happen. Everything else went to the doctors for a checkup. My vision is 20/20 for everyone who just wants to know.
Do you know what that means, Karen?
No idea. He didn't even say
you can have better than 20/20 vision.
Okay. Well, maybe I have that. He didn't even say 20/20. I just assumed.
Right.
He said my vision was very good. Despite I've got 2 little things. One's like filigalilum and one's like figalilum. And one is little calcium deposit, which is just there, kind of like floating on the eyeball. The other is a growth that is actually coming out and potentially might cover my iris one day and require surgery. At this point, it doesn't, and it's not affecting vision. Both are caused by not wearing enough sunglasses out in the sun. So there you go.
Oh, and you do spend a lot of time out in the sun, I guess, with your training. So
okay. Correct, and I did get sun blindness when I was a kid once, so that was not good. Everything else, there was only one day where I didn't do the middle splits because I just didn't want to. I was just like, fuck this. I don't feel like doing middle splits now, but they're actually coming along really well. I was doing today this random thing where basically like I hook my leg up over my own shoulder, or like the knee is, and then I like kind of kick up and while standing as well. And I was going like, damn, I didn't used to be able to do that. So like I'm actually, yeah, some stuff's coming good.
There you go. The gymnast within is you're gonna be fitting into a box scene.
Nah, man, you can't box this. Tried out the dating app Hinge. Look, I take back whatever I have said in the past. They're not the devil. They're not. I don't hate them as much as I thought I did once I gave it a fair crack. Yeah, it's been okay. It's been okay. Fixing up the V4V podcast, I probably got about halfway through that. So yeah, I'd say I'm probably sitting at about like 70-80% completion for this month, which is pretty good. Happy with that.
Okay, nice. I'll jump into my September ones. So as a reminder, my overall was really scaling back the goals to focus on that optimizing, automating before loading up again. And I remember Karen saying, like, hey, I've been really interested about what that is. Yes. Well, fat chance, man, because I didn't even do it. Didn't spend any time on it. Now, granted, and also I didn't document had this goal previously, my previous monthly goal about documenting previous efforts about what I need to set up in my cadence and from a health perspective and doctor's perspective. Didn't do that either. Not at all. So what I did end up doing was really setting up the running, a lot of the running that I've been doing and the mere models in motion. That's been good. Getting the drawing that I've been wanting to do and doing it in color. That's been fun. And I've actually really enjoyed doing these deeds and this words one. So specifically for those who can't actually see what I'm sharing right now, it was not sharing. anything, story or exclamation, unless the deed was underway or completed. This was one of the probably the hardest things for me because there's been many times where I've wanted to be like, but I thought, no, just wait until the deed's done, then words can come. So that's been challenging, but it was good. It was a good one.
And he did this because one day one just announced, oh, we've bought a house. There was no talk of which, this house is, we're looking at this house. It could be this one. It was no, it was just out of nowhere. It's done.
The deed's done. The deed's done. And then the other one around the calm versus frantic, I really enjoyed it this month where I really took time at the end of the day, or sorry, the next day when I'm reviewing the day before, actually writing a specific line about whether I was more calm, more frantic, and that really did help probably make me more aware of where I was calm, where I was frantic, not so much to investigate the reasons as to why or why not I was, but just to be aware. I think at this level right now, some of these like deeds over words, calm over frantic, kindness, blah, 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 these are like a multi-year type of efforts. So now that I'm talking it through, I'm starting to feel that at least for these annual goals, it's going to be more around, I'll be happy if I just get to an awareness level first. Then it'll be a bit of tackling some of these underlying items in the way that I might interact or do different things. But so September goals, I think it ended up being around 67%. Yeah, 67% for the September goals. So I reduced it down to 6 from 10. And I still missed out on 2. But as Karen did mention, there's a whole host of things going on in the particular month as well.
Would you say your general disposition is becoming more calm, or you're just finding abilities to stop the franticness, in essence?
I think it's my disposition is becoming more calm the more I do things that I'm already always doing or that I've done before, until I introduce something new, which I've never had to deal with, and then franticness becomes like a default.
Okay.
So of the things that I have done before, I'm generally doing, yeah, I can sense myself getting calmer as just a general methodology. But then something new comes up that I haven't dealt with before, and franticness does take over.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Okay, is there any numbers that you want to share here in the middle here of the monthly goals at all?
No, so this is where we do what if on those rare times when I mean, it's not rare times, it's about half the time when we record this after the month has actually passed, I can give updates on the boost amounts and things like that. I would say it's probably very similar to the previous month. I would say, it's probably we're at the position where it's like covering costs, I guess, for the shows, which is, I mean, that's a great position to be in. I do enjoy that. I would love to fix up the website, but it's still just kind of priority list is down lower. Like, I would love to have everyone who's contributed enough to get a shirt up there. I've only got the top 4 at the moment, and we're up to like 10 people or something who have reached that. So I would love to do that, but yeah, it's just and I would love to have the ability to boost on every single page of our website and to just fix up. Like, if you click on our first podcast, just the Mere Mortals podcast.com, you'll notice like it loads really slowly, and I think the better way of doing that would be to not have all the search bars down below, because like if you scroll down one, you'll see that it's loading up tons of episodes. It's loading up 5 to 10 of the book reviews, the podcast, the value for value. It's not even working at this current time for there. I think that would be better to just have like the latest episode that we've released as an audio file, real easily clickable, something like that.
Yep.
Just so that page isn't like that. But yeah, man, that's a bit down the road. If I get to that in the next 3 months, I will be surprised.
Be surprised. Okay, awesome. Well, let's jump into your October goals there, man. Let me bring them up.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so these are all linked to all the stuff I was talking about before in the previous episode. So really, what are my annual goals? So I really, for the game one, it's going to like just start listing out stuff that I believe and then test it if possible. So I gave an example in that previous episode of, never say that you've been in love before. That's just bullshit. I don't know where that came up from. That's a straight up one where it's like, test it out. You know, maybe if you do say it and then girls are like, oh my god, he has been in love before, someone else has conquered his heart, he can never be mine, next. Maybe, but probably not. So yeah, it's mostly just like starting out the list of things,
Mhm.
and yeah, and just really focusing on that. One of the things that has stopped me going to in real life events, for example, even just going on dates sometimes, is like I want to make it. I hate. It's not even actually the driving part so per se, although I do hate that when it is in traffic. That actually aggravates me and makes me kind of like anxious. Like it's just a mild level of stress that I don't want to deal with. A portion of it is actually getting up and out of the house, getting in motion, putting on, you know, acceptable clothes. Sometimes I'm just wearing like, you know, ratty shorts and stuff like that. And I think this is actually stopping me from going out and doing things and meeting people. For example, there was a date recently which I kind of just pushed back. So I was like, I'm already going to be out that day. Then I'm going to have to come back, and then I'm going to have to go out again. Then that sort of thing. So
Mm.
it's like, no, get over that dislike and just go places. Don't try and optimize your day. Don't try and fit this date in this place because you're going to be close by in this area already. That sort of shit.
Mhm.
Just do it. Just do it. Fixing up, oh well, creating better products. There's these two things. One's called the podcast mirror, which is basically a way of you being able to have a show, so hosted on Buzzsprout, for example, like the book reviews. But if you use the podcast mirror, you can go to this site and add extra tags to the RSS feed yourself, which is kind of what I want to do. I feel like I'm capable of that, which will then allow me to do things like go live, even though I'm hosting it on Buzzsprout and they don't
Right.
have the live functionality. So I really want to investigate that. I don't know if it's going to be exactly what I'm looking for, but I do hope it is, and that's actually via Blueberry. So I do have the ability to have a bit of connection with them because I host the value for value one with them, and then MK Ultra because I actually want to start putting LSD into people's drinks. And no, that's the code name of a basically like a live chat thing that Dave and Adam created, but I don't think anyone's really used it.
Mhm.
But I remember they were saying it could be used as a live chat and it would maybe serve my purposes. So I want to actually ask them about that and spend some time trying to figure out, is this actually something I could use?
Yeah. Okay.
So, yep. One arm handstand related. If in doubt, err on the side of caution. I'm going to start doing one arm handstand stuff. If I feel a twinge or a niggle or something coming in, me knowing me, I'm just going to want to push through it. I want to get the numbers. I want to get all the reps in.
Hmm.
This is one of those times where I need to err on the side of caution. And it's, oh, your back is really twinging and you're doing this, you know, movement, which is going to twinge it even more. Don't do it. Just leave a gap for that exercise. It'll be there next week, that sort of deal. Onto the media and things like that. I just want to start using my phone less and start culling low value content. So I have already gotten Twitter off of my phone, or X, whatever it's called. And I'm probably going to maybe get rid of Instagram as well off of the phone and only use it on the desktop, which will basically curtail my use of it by
Completely.
95%. Yeah, essentially. So yeah, just and just like there's a whole bunch of shows which I kind of watch or are in the back of my mind to check out every now and then, just because I used to, and I did find them valuable, but now then, like Bankless, for example, I don't see why I need to be going on to Bankless other than if Eric Voorhees is on, who
Right.
I find very uh, kind of like wise. He's always got a good take. For the travel stuff, it's a bit far away, so this is the lowest of the priorities. Check out some flights and just calculate a rough budget for what I'm sort of thinking. I never actually did a budget when I traveled for my big Latin America trip. I just
Hmm.
went. Whereas this time, I think it's like, it'd be good to know roughly how much would I be expecting to spend over that year.
Yep.
Make sure I've got adequate cash in the bank for that. The communication style, I think probably the important thing that I need to figure out now is what do I do wrong? What are times where I'm too brusque to say things? Here's a little story time. So, my roommate, I was chatting with her, and I was talking about travel, and I was talking about, I kind of want to go out to people's places, but I'm just not like, my routine. I'm not sure it'll work out with their routine. And she's like, oh yeah, you do want, you want to make sure you're not inconveniencing them. And I was like, no, 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 no. I want to make sure they're not going to inconvenience me. And so she she laughed her ass off, and then was like, look, Kyron, is funny because I know you, and I know you don't want to come across that way, but we were just talking about you staying at other people's places because they're offering up a room or something, and then you have the kind of like gall to say you don't want them to inconvenience you. Like, and it's like, yeah, I half said that for the funniness factor of that.
Mm.
If it was a real situation with someone who didn't know me well, I probably wouldn't say that. But there was still part of me that wanted to say it no matter what, and which is just like, you know, coming across as a complete jackass. So I think there are things that I do with my communication styles which other people have an insight into, which I don't realize or I don't know super clearly. And so I'm just going to start asking people. So that'll include you, that'll include friends, that'll include my brother, my dad. Yeah, just really the mere mortalites at home that you can help me out right now. Tell me what's one way that I communicate, which you've noticed, which is more on the detrimental side rather than the positive side. And then the last one, yeah, if I get this in, amazing. One dance class, one yoga session, and I've written 4 hours of Portuguese here. I'm gonna actually scrub that 8 hours. So
8 hours.
Okay,
yeah.
Get to the
In what format? Duolingo or another?
Yeah,
format?
probably Duolingo, man.
Okay.
I actually found Duolingo. My German is actually I'm pretty impressed with where my German's at, considering how it feels, how little I did on it. It feels like I could have done so much more over this last year, and we'll do a recap session of our last year and how we went. But it feels like I didn't do that much, but I can understand a fair bit. And I can create some sentences in my own head and kind of work my way around tricky words, which I don't know yet. Still a lot to go, but yeah, I've been
Good.
reasonably happy. And Duolingo was a great part for that. So
yeah,
I'll use Duolingo.
Nice. Okay, some good stuff there coming up. Obviously, off the back of the new annual goals. So, some of them are obviously it's in the same trend, I guess, as previous monthly goals, but obviously there's a slight different adjustment to those new ones or alignments. So, kind of like same, but a little bit different.
Yeah,
just nice. Cool. Okay. Well, I've got my October goals as well. I'm just sharing them, but I'll talk through. So I've pulled it back again.
Whoa.
So it's 6 down to 5, folks. And look, big goal. I'll call out at the very top right. It's a lot of personal moves. So I got to set those goals appropriately, right? I'm not including it in here, but it's just a reality. But for me, again,
well, what do you mean by personal moves?
Moving house.
Yeah.
Just there's moving house. I'm away on a bit of a holiday halfway through. My partner's going back to work for a couple of weeks. There's movements with the baby.
Lots of stuff going on. Yeah.
So for me, it's really just finishing off the running phase strongly. That's a big part of the October goals. That'll finish off the 12 weeks of running phase and prepare for the new powerlifting phase. So the next thing I'm going to try and do is going to be the powerlifting phase, and also the next piece for the mere mortals in motion. Again, I'll think through how I want to develop that, evolve it. Do I want to include training footage? Do I want to keep it as it is? I don't know. It'll be a bit of a trials and tribulations type of thing. Do I want to put more effort? Do I want to do less? We'll see. So then in the mind, I've only got one, and it's a pretty simple one. So I'm keeping it really, really simple, which is, so I want to keep on drawing. So drawing once a week, but I also want to write a quote in my drawing. Now, this is an interesting one because I don't want to I want it to be that I want to draw as I've been doing, just drawing and whatnot and coloring in. But as I'm doing it, kind of towards the tail end of it, then write down a quote of whatever the hell might be on my mind. So the meta of all of this, right, for what I'm doing this, and I'm starting to find it more and more, is a few things. One, it's kind of like a meditative thing to do. Two, when you're doodling and you're drawing and really getting into it and you forget, you either forget what you're stressing about or what you're doing or why you're even drawing a particular thing. what I have found is towards like the end of the 10, 15 minutes of drawing or painting or whatever it may be, I find myself just thinking like random stuff, really wild stuff. And I think I've wanted to be like, oh, I want to write this down. And so I go, okay, I'll allow myself to write a little quote in there, at the very end if it's to be appropriate and whatnot. I was going to say as well, sorry, just as a side tangent as to what I've seen of this meditative state. On the weekend, I did as many rounds as possible workout, Metcon. Now, usually, Karen, they like, 12 minutes, as many rounds as possible, 20 minutes, as many rounds as possible. I did a 100-minute, as many rounds as possible workout. And this one had a lot of running in it. It was, so the workout was 400-meter run, 5 total bars, some power cleans, and some sit-ups. And I did that for 22 rounds. But I had no headphones. So I ran in total 12 kilometers with no headphones. So you'd be amazed. Can you imagine that? Me with no headphones, no nothing. Unbelievable.
What was going
but
through
what
his
I
mind?
found towards the end of it was, not even towards the end of it, like halfway through, dude, my mind started going out of control in ideas. You know what I'm like generally with ideas? Dial that up to 50, man. Sorry, every time I would run out, I'd go like, oh, I'm gonna get this podcast, I'm gonna get this person in, I'll interview them, and I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'll then when I finish here, this is how I'm gonna do the post, this is how I'm gonna do. Dude, I like sorted so many things in my brain, and I think this is what I want to try and get to do once a week in this like drawing methodology. So that's the meta. It's kind of uncovering or allowing the loose one child to express himself.
Jesus, that does not sound calm. That sounds
Oh,
the opposite.
it felt, dude, it felt so calm. It felt so wonderful to have my mind just go like out of control, release type of deal. It just felt fantastic because I think most of the time I'm under like such a pump of pressure of doing things that to like release it was just like, oh, unbelievable.
Nice.
And then the final two, which is in the soul space. So again, I'll start with the last one, which is another calm versus frantic, and this is totally unwinding before the home move. So specifically, no work during the days off. So again, I'm taking some days off before we actually move house, and yeah, just completely want to be no work. So sometimes this can be a bit hard for me, depending on the days and stuff like that, especially because one of them is going to be like a work day that I'm going to take off, and so I'm going to just be like, yep, absolutely no work, no nothing, no interaction with anything that could be deemed that, to make sure I'm sort of prepared for that. And then now here's a big one. So one of the things that I'm anticipating is, and I wrote it down, that my ego can largely lead me astray when it thinks I am the center of the world. Recognize that during the big moves, I need to be kind to others. And so specifically, this is a yearly alignment to kindness over ego. And so I know for sure myself in that in a big move, like this moving house, I know what I'm going to be like. We'll move on a Saturday, and in my mind, it's cool. I'll go train at 4 a.m. and I'll get my 1 hour workout in, but I'll have to get my food, or maybe the day after I'll have to be like, oh, but I've got to do this. I need to go train. I think I'm just going to make sure I'm slowing down and recognizing that kindness to others sometimes does mean putting the ego and what you want aside, because it's for the better good of, yes, well, it's going to maybe just be annoying that you can't do your shit for a week, but do that and have a better time over the next couple of months than, try to drag too much or burn too much at either end and then not work out. So that's sort of that specific goal there. So only the 5 goals for this particular month. Reasons, there's a lot of other stuff that I'm dealing. I mean, I could put putting in there. Fuck, the amount of things I'm dealing, the tasks that I'm doing at the moment is like insanity. But I'm also filling in a lot of time at the moment with just fun things. Like, so I don't know if you're aware, Karen, but for other Me Immortalites may be aware, this weekend coming up is a long weekend, with the Monday being a public holiday here in Brizzy or mostly across Australia. But also the 2 footy grand finals are on Saturday. The AFL finals on, and then Sunday the rugby league finals on, and both of the Brisbane teams are in the grand final. So we'll be making this massive trip to being with the parents, watching it, and making a big thing out of it. I've been making a lot of effort to reconnect with old friends, bring them to workouts, run with them, do different things. So there's a lot of other things which I think in previous months would have been a monthly goal. Now they're just kind of finding themselves into, hey, that's just tasks and things that I'm doing. So I think underlying a lot of these monthly goals, and if I look back at 2021 goals, sometimes some of the ones I was putting there were kind of like tasks, not goals per se. So I guess that's sort of the influence or the evolution of some of those. But there you go. Those are October 2023 goals.
I want to jump back to the last one that you were talking about because I've never really heard you say it, and just the phrasing stood out to me. Do you get that? Do you get the feeling that you're the center of the world at times? Do you feel that? Do you think that?
Not in the, how do I say, not in the power sense, but in the importance sense.
Okay.
In the so it would be the equivalent of, well, I'll give you an example. If you were doing a handstand workout, say you're 2 hours in on a really fun handstand workout, and it's 3 hours, so you got an hour left.
Mm-hmm.
There wouldn't be many. Would there be many things that could pull you out of that?
No.
Let's just say if someone said to you like, "Hey, I don't know," a friend walks by and said, "Hey, Karen, do you want to come with me for a beer?"
Yeah, absolutely not.
Right. So I think it's imagine that. It's like that importance factor, I guess, of similar thing for me for training. So, it might be like, hey, I've planned out my week in advance for training, and I've put that I'm doing a powerlifting phase, and I've planned that on Thursday I'm going to do this, and on Friday I'm going to do this, and on Saturday I'm going to do this. And to kind of like, it's almost like I have to make the decision to shoot my plan down in favor of other people. That can be hard. That can be a hard thing. So it's recognizing that, as always, it's a balance. And so it's kind of like, well, you kind of have to also see the kindness that you have to be for others in favor of some suffering, which might be just internal suffering that you're not doing things, but recognizing that there's a better good around that too.
Yeah, I've got a great example of how I do this very same thing. So when I was with my first girlfriend in Mackay, she had booked this like as a gift for my birthday to go see the Cat Empire, and it was in Airlie Beach, and it was like, wow, booked tickets, special pass thing, like gave me a like keychain stuff. Like it was really, she knew the band that I liked, all those sorts of things. And whilst, once again, this is related to two of my goals. One, the ego stuff was, oh shit, what day is it? Is that on a Saturday? It's like, I've got a soccer game then, and this was just back in classic Kyron. Still to this day, really, if I commit to something, I'm going to do it. I committed to this soccer team. I'm going to go to every single game. I don't really give a shit what else comes up. And so I was kind of like, just off the default was like, and then the way, like, that was probably like one of the biggest fights we had, because she was super overjoyed, like happy, like she's excited, giving me a gift. And my reaction was kind of like
apathy.
It was just like, oh, this is a problem sort of deal. And I remember her very vividly saying, like through tears, it's like you don't even care. And I'm like, geez, that's really not how I wanted to come across. Like, I do care. There was actually a huge moral dilemma for me. Would I go to this soccer game? Would I miss this soccer game, or would I? And it was just like a middle season game. It didn't have any special importance. Would I miss this game, or would I go to this event that she'd very thoughtfully organized and booked out and all that sort of thing? And I wasn't able to convey just how much a moral quandary this was for me. And I think this was that same thing. It's like default. I don't think I'm the center of the world. Like that's not what goes through my head, but you can see in some of my actions, as I did demonstrated in that example, was I can come across as if that is perhaps what is going through my head. So yeah, very I know exactly what you mean when you write that now. It's like, okay, yeah, it's not.
And I think it's worth people, because I feel like I gotta be more precise with that, because I think it can be like when I said like power versus prioritization, they are slightly different things. But I wonder if there's a better way to, even like, as we were just talking about it then, I feel like both of us would struggle to really precisely describe that to like an opposite person in a very distinctive way. Like, hey, right now I've got this quandary that you're telling me to do this, but
yeah,
I want to do this, and this is the reasons why I want to do it.
Yeah,
So
this is why
if I
this
don't,
is why this
just
discipline
be
is important. Yeah.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Um,
Last little housekeeping here. I did say last week that I would try and release this earlier, straight after. I'm just not going to be able to do that. It's going to be a bit too much. So perhaps, and I think it will be hard for me to release these on the night, because it, just from my experience with the Value for Value podcast, it takes like a couple of hours, to be honest, just to get everything together, to do all the editing, to do it, and it's just it'll keep me up late and therefore start screwing up my Thursdays. So once again, me prioritizing my sleep over the mere mortals at home who are desperately waiting for the audio to come out straight afterwards. Sorry, people, you have to wait.
You'll
I
have to
might be
wait.
able to bring it forward a day and start releasing on the Thursdays, which won't conflict with the book reviews anymore. So yeah, to be confirmed. Watch this space.
Good. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, that's it for today. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, folks, thank you very much for joining in. For those listening to live, thank you very much for joining live. For those listening afterwards, yes, we do obviously continue to do these monthly look backs and look aheads. We're just doing September, October, but you can go and find all of the monthly goals that we've been doing for years now. So feel free to, if you want to go back to see some of those. Sometimes have been some of the most popular videos as well, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Not audios, but videos.
Yes, correct.
So that's an interesting little caveat there.
Can
Again, you can support the podcast. We are Valley for Valley enabled, which means you can send through, boostergrams in the way of messages with Satoshis attached. You can support us by sharing this with people around. We talked a little bit about, earning a shirt. If you get to a 100,000 sats sent through in a boostergram, you get a free shirt. We'll send it to you wherever you are in the world. So that's, I think, Karen, you call that's probably about $40-something worth Australian dollars at the moment. So
it's whatever the Bitcoin price is divided by
10,000.
1,000, correct.
Yeah. So, roughly, you're basically getting your money back. It's really what we're
bucks.
saying with some of the cost of the shirts.
Yeah,
and they're limited edition. So, get into them if you want. For now, we'll leave it. I think we'll leave it there. More or less, thanks for tuning in once again to the monthly goals, and all the best out there for those who are also putting themselves through some monthly discipline.
Yes.
For now, that's it. One out.
Karen out. Bye.
Good.
Oh, very good, very good. Right.
Shoo.
Stop this here.